Hi.
I started doing this show after I left TV news in April of last year, and immediately everyone wanted me to keep updating the situation where you're at. And I wasn't able to get anyone. It seems like some people did not want to talk about it. And I wanted to come to your community, and I still want to. I'm not that far away. So I don't know who to go first. I'll just pick one of you, I guess. Ashley, I think everyone knows what happened. There was a train derailment, and did they intentionally explode the debris?
They did. Now
That's
they
what I
said
thought.
there was a failure, and after hearing a bunch of different stories and investigators that went on the scene, they didn't need to. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't going to cause any further problems. A lot of us residents have photos. I even went in whenever they had it all closed off to feed a lizard, and I looked out of my attic window and I could see the smoke. It wasn't how it was. It was kind of faded out, just smoldering, like how you'd see a campfire smolder. That's what it looked like. I don't think there was any need actually to do what they did.
Krista, you agree?
Yeah, and that's what Oxy Vinyl, the owner of the cars and the chemicals, testified to at the NTBS hearing.
Mhm.
Wow.
That was really surreal to hear that confirming.
Yeah, it was a shock for everyone outside. Well, in your community, we were thinking, what the hell is going on? And so we've had since then, so much has happened. I immediately thought there's going to be a health issue. There's going to be a health concern. And I know like a couple days after it happened, I think I watched a news conference. Some official said, go back to your homes. There's no bad levels of anything. And they're trying, whoever it was, some official, EPA, whoever, everything's fine. Go back home. But it wasn't, was it?
No, and if you really think about having a bonfire, and if you put garbage in there and you let it burn all over the place, you need to clean up all the stuff around it that goes up into the air, falls down, say paper plates, or, those go up quick. Now,
Yeah.
plastic plates, they burn, they go up into a chunk and drop down. So we have an extraordinarily large area that all this debris and everything's covering. In that short amount of time to say, it's okay, everyone go home, that was like a red flag to a majority of the residents. Like, this isn't okay.
I got this up on the screen. Was this the plume of smoke and debris that I have up on the screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of screenshots of different air, like the way the plume traveled over the
Okay.
course of the day, because they try to say it didn't go past 1 mile. In the red zone, the red area is the highest level of contamination, if I understand right.
That's a big area.
It is.
Yeah, that's wow. So I guess where do we stand now today? Like, what does that area look like? The land, does that railways, is it back running as a railroad, or are there
They
trains going?
started the railroad. The trains met us in town when we came back from evacuation.
3 minutes. It was about 3 minutes, and people were on Facebook and our groups throwing a fit. Like, we have all these traumatized people, and now you have a train running through. But you
And they were
can't,
lined up for miles.
yeah, you can't have trains running through a town that's closed down. So they had to open.
Yeah, wow. So what does it look like around where that happened? Is it like roped off? What's it look like? I know some pictures you gave me. What are these on who sent, was this Ashley?
Yeah. Now, I took that picture February 18th, and those are a part of the cars past train car 50. So we have a list from the EPA of what train cars were affected. But if you zoom out and you look at any of the pictures that were posted from that burning, there is a red car off to the side. And they said after those tanker cars at that red car off to the side, that was all that was burning. But these were about 3 or 4 cars back, visibly on fire in any news article you see. So we're worried about heavy metals in the air that no one's acknowledging.
What did they do with like all these cars? They're not still sitting there, are they?
No,
Okay.
they
They've
But
never acknowledged them.
oh really?
yeah. So there's
Well,
no way that heavy metals could be in the area. We did have soil tests come back February 28th that Norfolk Southern did samples from, and there's a lot of levels of cadmium, mercury, arsenic, lead. Anything you find a battery is in that soil, highlighted blue. So it's a elevated levels, and they refuse to test our homes for heavy metals.
Or anything
Wow.
else.
Yeah.
So wait, they won't, like, I know in the city when we had the Flint water crisis, it was a whole debacle as to who would pay for it, who would do this, who would. It sounds like there's some similarities between these two totally different cases, but it sounds like a lot of similarities. So do you have to pay for your own testing?
Oh, we
We
can't even
did.
get that.
Yeah, Krista, let me ask Krista, because, well, and I think if I heard in the beginning, if you were agreed to something, you had to even sign documents. You could be signing away your rights to stuff, right? And that was a worry.
That was the
Krista,
access agreement. So we had 3 different variations of that access agreement that was given. So the first one was questioned, the second one was questioned even more, and the third one is the one they left on. But you allowed other entities to go onto your property at any time, no end date. It's about 5 or 6 different people, and I have all the copies of them. It makes you feel uncomfortable that they're just going to go onto your property, do anything, change anything, run whatever they need to through there. There are people in yards with metal detectors and vests from the railroad in people's yards after they sign these agreements.
wow. So Krista, you said that, like, if for example, if I wanted to have my family, my water tested, my blood tested, you got to pay for that all out of your pocket?
We are having trouble finding people that will do any type of testing. Our doctors aren't A lot of doctors are not doing tests that are requested. Um, in the beginning, a lot of people went for vinyl chloride and benzene tests. Some of them were able to get it, some of them weren't. The dioxin blood test was eliminated out of one of the lab's sites, their whole computer system. And then as far as in-home testing, all they did was the initial air test, which at a meeting Ashley had, EPA had said that that was not done correctly. It was insufficient testing. That's all they did, and they never even came to me. I called them, and they never came. So, we're thinking they would have been doing swipe tests and, like, doing in detailed test, and all they did was a one test, and then they don't acknowledge you again.
Wow. This picture one of you sent me, and explain what this is. It looks like just a huge plastic, like a pool. What's inside of this thing, or what are these? Who sent this to me? Was this Ashley?
I
Krista.
sent that.
Yeah, what is this? What are we looking at?
They put those up, sometime over the summer, I believe. They are 2 million-gallon tanks, if I'm remembering the numbers right, that they are holding contaminated water in. They're shipping water off-site in trucks, but in the meanwhile, it's sitting in those tanks. Now the EPA has on their website that they are heating it, and you will see visible vapors, but don't worry, they're not toxic.
Wow. Okay. Is
And
there
there's a
any?
resurgence of more symptoms happening again. Not that it ever really went away, but some of them seem to have lightened, and then a lot of people are tasting it in the air, smelling it, um, and a lot of problems coming back that maybe had slightly eased.
Wow. And that's what I want to get. Like in Flint, people started getting oh, Ashley, oh, you're here. Sorry, I flipped the screens. People started getting sick. And I know immediately when this happened, I heard stories like there were nosebleeds, there were things, but what are you seeing now? Because some of the medical stuff we may not know for years and years, but what are you seeing now? What's going on with the health of the people you know there?
You can start, Ashley.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're kind of like the people that, we reach out to people and we're active in the community. People reach out to us.
Okay.
We don't put anything out to the public unless we have a lot of backing it, whether it be scientific evidence, whatnot.
Yeah.
So we started doing polls and saying, here's a large list of symptoms. And I did this back in March, and we had people that came in, fill out on papers. A majority of them were having the same problems. So we kept doing that and kept seeing that. And people would reach out to me and tell me things like, this person has cancer, this person has this. Kids are having bloody noses. The teachers are afraid to say anything or send the kids down to the nurse because it's happening so progressively and all at once. They're over capacity, everywhere you talk to, um, doctors say if it's regarding the derailment, and I didn't know this, and I didn't hear this myself, and I heard it from everyone until I had to get my heavy metal test. If it's regarding the derailment, we don't want anything to do with it. So basically, we're being denied
Are they
any
scared
kind
of?
of help.
They're scared. Are they scared of litigation, or they don't want to
Yeah,
touch it?
yeah. So they don't want to deal with it. So when people are having seizures, severe headaches, they're having tremors in their hands, they're having rashing, burning eyes. A lot of people are going to have to get eye surgery. About 50% of the people that work close to that railroad are having severe eye issues.
Let me put up a
The rectal
picture.
bleeding.
Oh God, this is just like this is, I know, from Rick, one of you sent it to me. Is this just a rash that?
That was something that he shared with the group that had come out from being in the creeks. He was pretty surprised about it. That was pretty early on.
So what is you said eye issues? Is it
Yeah.
breathing at all or no? Or
Yeah.
what's the?
Tightness in your chest, hair loss, a lot of rashing on your, like in your scalp area. One woman had severe pain from just itching and having scalp irritation from being outside, inside, using the water. She just shaved her entire head and put it out there and said, I'm sick of this. I didn't know what else to do. Please do not come attack me on this.
Do we know
We
if? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
we
I mean,
had visitors from out of town, from Missouri come in. They spent less than 12 hours in East Palestine, and one of them has scalp issues
Wow. Do
upon
we know
returning.
has the water supply been tested? Like, where do you get your water from? Is it from that community, or has anyone tested the water itself?
now I've been in a hotel since February 3rd.
Seriously?
Yeah, I can't handle being in my own home. It makes me severely ill. We actually had shut off our water, but I'm seeing all of the pipes in town be replaced. So we think the old metal pipes could possibly have a corrosion issue right now. We don't know what's going on. People have had rashes from using the water, and it's all municipal water. It's from our city.
Have they done any official testing or anything that you know of, or?
They did, but you can only test for what you want to test for. And if you don't test for it, it's not going to come back wrong. So
That's
there are
true.
probably things that they should be testing for more in depth that they might not be. I haven't really been looking into the city water as much. I've just heard and seen a lot of different people's pictures and even kids with rashes. People send me things you don't even know what you're looking at. And Melissa May warned me of this. You will get this. Women are showing bad irritation in their bra lines, underwear lines, and it's all consistently the same location, same issues.
A lot of menstrual issues.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a big gamut of a wide array of them. So I didn't know that. Ashley, since then, since that day, almost a year ago, that this derailment, the explosion happened, you've been living in a hotel?
Yeah, that's where I'm at currently. So this is our hotel room.
Now, are you having to pay for that yourself?
No, not right now.
Okay.
February 9th is when the relocation ends. So we've been having food and hotel covered, which is
Yeah.
great. But you wake up mornings and think, if I could just go back home, maybe it'll be better. You get there and you're like, nope, I can't do it. I can't. I'm really sick. Half my body goes numb and tingles. Your lips tingle. Like I can't be in my home. So after that,
You'd rather be in your home, obviously, but you
yeah,
don't want to be. Now, Krista, you're in your house?
Yeah, the map that I sent you shows where they're allowing relocation, and I am either right inside or right outside their little line, and we were refused temporary relocation. I have nothing to base the assumed safety of my home for my family because they didn't even come do their inadequate air testing in my home. They refused us the temporary relocation, even though people farther away are now getting it.
yeah.
So we're just sitting, we don't know. If
Wow.
my home itself isn't contaminated, I know that the environment we step outside into is.
People I haven't heard this because that's why I wanted to talk to you, and I'm glad. I'm going to make a trip down there because I'm not that far away, maybe 3 hour drive, and I want to do that. Hopefully, one of you can show me, or both of you show me around.
I'd suggest get a full panel first before anyone comes into town. Make sure you know what you have
Really?
going on medically before you go there. I would
Really?
absolutely suggest that. You will have reactions.
Even if you're there for like 24 hours, you'll still.
I
Wow.
can't be at my house more than an hour and a half, and we're coming up on a year.
Geez, it's like a nuclear bomb, literally all kind of went off and it's contaminated the whole area. But you're not hearing about this. Like, I did not know about this. The people watching right now across the country, even in Michigan, they probably have no clue. People, because the media, they cover it, they move on. And there are some good independent journalists and some people who are still covering you. But the main NBC, CNN, it seems like they've forgotten about you. Is that how you feel?
Yeah. There's a little bit of interest coming up on the 1 year, but I think EPA has kind of directed what can be put out. I don't know that. It just kind of seems like there's a specific narrative being followed, which is
Well,
kind
you
of
need to be,
unsettling.
you two need, or well, the community needs to be the one, to tell people what's happening because you're the ones living it.
Well, some of them are so exhausted, and these chemicals do affect you mentally and physically, and people will sleep 12 hours a day. I mean, you feel run down on top of doing all your normal things. And now we've had this boom in houses. So everyone's trying to sell their homes to get out. And if anyone wants to look into that in Columbiana County, the uptick in the sales in these houses are amazing. Like, it is through the roof how many sales we've had. And that affects our taxes now. So people that had a normal everyday life with what they had, and they still don't even want to live there and they're trying to get out. Now their taxes have increased. Our electric bills have increased. Everything that we have has increased. So these people are just kind of done with it. They're hoping someone's going to help them, and there's no one really coming to help us.
People aren't, they're not selling. I mean, people can't sell their home where you're at. I mean, you couldn't, Ashley, you couldn't sell your home right now if you
I
wanted to,
wouldn't
right?
feel morally right. But if it comes to it, I'm going to have to sell it and let them know exactly, like, hey, this is what's going on. These are the independent tests I've done. If you feel comfortable, you can take it. But I'd feel better for someone to buy it to rent it. So that way someone's not stuck in a 30-year mortgage that they can't get out of and be in a situation they won't be able to leave.
That's how the city of Flint was. They were selling homes that before the water crisis were going for 150, after $10,000. Krista, so Krista, you're stuck. I mean, you probably can't sell that home and make enough to move to somewhere else and have a good living. You're not going to make a lot of money on that, probably, because people don't want to.
No, people are really buying in
Yeah.
town, and then they're getting a lot of them are getting sick. They're paying market value,
Do you not
and then
know?
they're surprised when they get sick. Now, I won't say all of them, but we've both talked to a few people who had that experience. And I feel like Ashley, like it's a hard decision. It's not you don't want to do that, especially without anything to back it up. And with as little information as forthcoming on the future, I spent a lot of time looking at the past incidences, and it's not real optimistic. And yeah, I do own my home. We've lived here 28 years. It's the only home my kids or my grandson have ever known.
I mean, I used to work in the media. I listen to stuff. You two do as well. You listen to stuff, but there's probably a lot of people that don't even know what's going on. And you're right. So that's why I think I want to do this. More people need to focus on it. Um, has the train, Norfolk Southern, right? The company, have they had a massive settlement with everybody? How's that going? Because they're, or the EPA, the Flint water crisis, they just now settled a civil lawsuit. It's like 9 years later, and it just took 9 years. So what's happening, like, with helping all of you? Is anything getting done civilly from anyone?
Their motto, what we're making it right or we're making it better. They're not.
We're making
They're
it right.
absolutely not. And they've caused more conflict with other people, or have tried, because when we go to get money for relocation, we have to go in with our receipts. They have to give us a check or a card. Well, they'll do things extra for someone else that they won't do for someone else. And then they'll come here to my hotel to get my payment in front of all the other people here. And I'm trying to help them get the same thing. So they're not mad at me because they know how much I'm fighting for people, like the people in the community that are staying here with me. But it's, to me, it blows my mind that you, as a worker of Norfolk, is coming here, physically seeing these people, and I'm introducing you to them, or you already know them, and you are not helping them or even making their day for pickup the same time. Like it is astounding how they're treating everyone's situation. We had to fight to get some groceries paid for or some clothes when we first relocated. They didn't want to do it. So then I had to talk to someone else. So it has been such a hassle. And I've been offered 18,000 to move out. Done. We won't do anything else. We're going to offer you this. They didn't offer it to other people, but that doesn't get me much because my mortgage is $186. It's the cheapest I'm ever going to find. I figured I would have my life set if I had to work at McDonald's if need be. I could take care of myself. Now I am going to be in debt, or I'm never going to see my kids again because I'm going to have to work to pay off 2 homes. And they're not going to help.
Wow. It was the government's decision, correct? Or emergency management or whoever, to do the fire and do the explosion. It was their decision to do that, right?
We understand it was a joint effort between a whole lot of agencies, the railroad, the governors of both Ohio and Pennsylvania, because this happened about 500 feet from the Pennsylvania border. When it came down to it, the pressure was put on the local fire chief. He had to be the one to, which I don't think is fair to say it was his choice when you're in a room of 50 high-ranking officials.
I guess the point being, if they're responsible, I'm only thinking like an average person, they should, whoever was responsible should compensate you. I mean, financially, nothing can fix health issues, but all of those involved should be doing something, and it doesn't sound like they are. Like I said, in Flint, it took 8 years. And get this, in Flint, with the civil, some people are only getting like $1,500, $2,000 a piece, and that's after 8 years. It's just disturbing.
Yeah,
it is.
And what's more wild about us having this relocation and Norfolk is paying for the relocation, we're going to have to pay taxes on that money. We filled out a W-9. We're going to get a 1099 back. I've talked to different congressmen, senators. They said they're working on something to get it passed, but I haven't seen anything publicly. So I don't know if I am going to have to pay money back on something that I didn't want to have to do in the beginning, and I'm going to have to go and be exposed back to. And I'm refused testing to even ease my mind that I should be living there.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, people in the comments are saying, why isn't the government not stepping up? And I'm saying, well, it's the government.
They're saying because there's a liable party, because Norfolk is liable, but they're not making Norfolk do what the a lot of the residents feel is necessary.
So we're kind of in. You really don't see an end to this. I mean, it sounds like everyone's still arguing. This government with Norfolk Southern, it's kind of a big mess. It sounds like
we go in circles. Once we start to have some kind of resolution, there's another problem. There's another thing that goes on. I mean, we had cleaning presented to us. They Swiffered the walls with a Swiffer wipe. That's it. They just wiped over it. The first cleaning service, I went rounds with them and I said, you're not doing a hazmat clean. And every time I've requested that, and I said, everyone wants hazmat clean. Why would you want your house to have a light housekeeping whenever there has been a giant mix of chemicals released onto this town and people are still having issues? We're being denied that. Anyone that's had a complaint, Mark Durno told me Monday, I think, he said, I've heard no complaints that anyone was upset with the cleaning. I said, go on our Facebook groups, look at the polls I've posted. I've posted 2, and we've had large amounts of people say, where do I complain about this? How do I get someone to acknowledge it?
And the cleaning that they offered doesn't even count things like cleaning out closets. You know, Ashley can't be in her home. People are opening up totes and being overwhelmed with chemical smell and getting skin reactions and respiratory problems. So they're going to Swiffer your walls, but that does nothing for the deeper problem. And if she can't be in her home long enough to empty those out so that they can Swiffer them, it's just unbelievable.
Have they admitted their health issues? Are they still not admitting to that?
They're saying they can't find a pathway.
Well, I have a video of that on my YouTube. If you want to share that with them or anyone, I do have some videos of me talking with different people on this subject too. But when I had Mark Durno come into my house and I had a witness with me, I opened up a cupboard that hadn't been opened the entire time. This was July. And he wanted to know how long we need to be in here for him to have a reaction. I said, I don't know. We can stay here 30 minutes if you want. As soon as I opened that cupboard, I was confused. I was lightheaded. I started having head pain. My lips were tingling, and directly down one half of my body on the left side, I had numbness and tingling to the point where the girl with me said, Ashley, are you okay? And I said, you can tell I'm not okay. She said, you don't look good. Are you all right? I said, no, I can't. Like the whole left side of my body feels weird. And Mark said, I don't feel anything. Didn't direct me to go seek medical help. Didn't say anything else on the topic. Didn't say it could be due to that. All we did was look inside my cupboard to see where there's an access point where exterior air could be coming into my home.
Wow. Someone just asked in the comments, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Chelite therapy can carry out heavy metals of the body. Has that been offered to you? Chelite, CHELATE therapy. I don't know what that is, but someone brought it up in the comments, and I've
Not
not
even
heard
regular medical attention has been offered. They
Yeah.
set up a clinic in town that was supposed to be there for us to report, and nothing against the providers there. But when you go down there, you present your symptoms, and they say, well, we can't say that that's related to the derailment, or I don't think that's related to the derailment. My mom and I both were sent to a neurologist by them, and neither one of them had any knowledge that we were related to the derailment. We were from that area, that any of the chemicals or anything.
Yeah.
And you hear that over and over, that, they say they can't, or they won't, or they don't know, they can't prove it.
So yeah, someone just said it's she late, but even the very basic stuff, she's talking about this therapy, but you can't even get the basic stuff. It sounds like.
I got a 3-panel done for heavy metals. They found arsenic, lead, and mercury in my system. I had my boyfriend get his done. He had arsenic, lead, mercury. My son had it done. He had not the panel because we couldn't get that done for him, but lead was in his system. Then another couple found arsenic, lead, mercury. Another family in town found the same thing. Those are connected to the soil that we have samples of that I have the results from.
Did you have to pay for that?
Yeah, my insurance did.
So,
and not all insurance will do the testing or do the right testing.
And on my paper, it says from the doctor, due to chemical exposure. So they know that it's from the chemicals there. But I mean, if someone else that doesn't have my doctor tries to go and ask for the same thing, they're denied. So you really have to get lucky if you can get these tests. And we've had tests removed, like vinyl chloride. We can't get that at Quest anymore. It's gone. The whole code is out of the system.
I'm assuming a lot of lawyers came to the town trying to make money. Is there any massive lawsuit that's ongoing?
There
or
are
something?
Lots of massive lawsuits.
Yeah, but the lawyers are the ones that are going to make a lot of money probably from it.
Yeah, and you should see the percentages they're coming at us with. It's pretty extreme.
Well, that's how Flint happened. Now, some people are getting a couple $1,000s, which, in Flint, and especially in your case, some of these you're not seeing. Like, there were 9-year-olds now who were babies when Flint happened, and you're seeing like mental issues or hyperactivity. You're starting to see that now. So what happened to you and the young children there, we could be dealing with this 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now.
For how severe some of these symptoms are, and for what I've been hearing, kids are having seizures in town. So we're hearing that through other people in town, and kids are having seizures, stomach pain so bad that they're calling the police department to get any kind of help, but the police department isn't responding as quickly. So we're having outside police officers come in, EMS come in to handle these. But we've had about 3 or 4 different kids have seizures. There was a younger child under the age of 1 that just had a seizure, and it was pretty close to where Krista lives. So there's all sorts of stuff going on that they're not acknowledging or even collecting this information unless we bring it to them. So if we bring it to the EPA, then they'll tell us to call the CDC. When we call the CDC says call the Ohio Department of Health. When we call them, and we had to call for my boyfriend, he had nothing but blood in his stool for 3 days after being in town for 3 days. So they said, what's your age and what's your symptom? That's the only thing we can take for you. So they're not even collecting this information to use it in anything.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I talked to you, and I'm going to have you on again. And like I said, I'm going to go down and visit, but as you suggested, I have my blood work done before I come down there, or
yeah, get a basic blood panel, liver function and all that.
Yep.
It's not like I'm visiting Zimbabwe or something.
Well, everyone's having kidney problems, and if you start to have one, it's a big coincidence. So you'd rather be safe than sorry.
Wow.
I wouldn't suggest coming down without any kind of physicals.
Wow. Before I let you go, I want to each one of you. So Krista, I want to start with you. Thank you for doing this. What where do we go from here? And the important stuff is what I'm doing. People need to listen and care what's going on. What's your outlook now? Are you optimistic that anything's going to help, or what are you thinking about the whole situation now?
I'm not optimistic that under the current circumstances anything's going to be done right. I believe that we should have been bought out or been offered a buyout immediately. I believe that health studies should have been like right on, not waiting for funding. We should have some type of medical provided to us to make sure, that our health is maintained, our children's and our grandchildren's health is maintained, to watch the downline generations, because, we have a lot of children or young women of childbearing age. We don't know what this is going to cause to them. Right now, as things set, I am not optimistic. I wish I could say I was.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't be there. And Ashley, you feel the same way?
I'm terrified to go back. I think if I go back, I won't make it to the end of this court hearing because I'm having neurological issues already, problems with spasming in my hands, and you can't hold things. I mean, with just that, for my minimal exposure going into town, I don't think I'll make it to the end. I think it should be either a full buyout, or they should test people's homes that want to leave, let them leave, and leave them with what they had, because there's no way I could morally sell my house. There's no way that I'm going to be able to make it without selling that house. So I'm put in a terrible position, worrying about my health, trying to worry about my son's health, and nowhere to go because no help is being given.
Well, thank you so much. I do plan on going down there. Like I said, I used to work in Pittsburgh, which isn't that far away. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to put this out there. I'll send you a link later so you can push it out for free to everybody. And I'm praying for you, and I'll tag everyone I know and everyone on social, and I'll keep on, making news of this, and just prayers go out. Prayers go out to all of you.
We appreciate everybody who's turning their eyes and saying, "Hey, what did it get better? What's going on?"
We need to stop it here so it doesn't get to you or your family.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. Thank you, Dave.
Amen. I'll let my mainstream media friends know that they need to get their behind back there.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.